first time moms. I love answering questions for first time moms. I feel like if you're already a mom, you just need to trust your instincts. Like you've got something that works for you and just kind of like go with the flow. But first time moms, I love. So if you have questions as a first time mom, ask them to me in the comments and I will try to answer as many of them that I can. But I wanted to personally answer this one because this one is one of my favorites. And I just want to tell you guys what we have done and what has worked for us. So typically until about 3 weeks, I will do contact naps. For me and for the baby, baby's new. It's what they call the 4th trimester. Like they're literally new to this world. They're used to being right there with you, hearing your heartbeat as their way to sleep. I feel like it helps with my postpartum recovery, but it also helps with baby getting adjusted to the world. So those first 3 weeks, I do participate in contact naps. I love them and I feel like baby just loves them too. After about the 3 week point, so probably 2.5 weeks, close to 3 weeks, is when we start using our snoo, which is a bassinet that I personally love. We've used it for 2 babies now. We'll be using it for this 3rd baby. You can rent it, you can get it on Facebook Marketplace, but it is worth it. We start using the snoo bassinet and we watch wake windows religiously. And that is catching your baby in that sweet spot when they are ready to go to sleep. If your baby is crying, cranky, and fussy, you have missed that sweet spot window. When you're just like, oh my God, this is a wonderful baby. They're so happy and they're so cute. That's probably the perfect time to put them down for a nap. And it can be hard because you're like, oh, but they're being so good. I'll wait till they get fussy. Don't. Once they get fussy, it's going to be even harder for them to get to sleep. So I like to watch wake windows. You can Google it and look it up and see based on their age what their wake windows are going to be. And you want to follow those religiously. So it might not be nap time is this time, this time, this time, but I just watch the wake window. So if they've got a 45-minute to an hour wake window, at the 35 to 40-minute mark, I'm preparing baby to go down. I'm changing diaper and I'm putting them down for a nap. I like to lay them down awake and I let them kind of like settle themselves, not self-soothe, but just like settle themselves. However you put baby down is how they're gonna need help and assistance going back down. So I personally don't rock or pat to sleep or like do this big production every time we put them down because they're going to need that, especially if you plan on having more babies or you just wanna be able to get some work done or you wanna get in the shower, throw in a load of laundry. It's gonna take a lot more time and it's not good or bad, like, oh, you're not giving your baby what they need. You can teach your baby to just go to sleep. And that's what we've done. So we watch the wake windows and we just put them down. And I usually start that 2.5 to 3 weeks, just laying them down. So even now at 1 and 2 years old, when it's time for nap time or nighttime, I just lay them on their back. They have blankets now. Obviously when they're little, they're not. They're just in their little swaddles or wraps or little baby zip ups or whatever. I use a sound machine, not necessarily because they need it to go to sleep, but it allows me to be able to move freely and do what we need to do, vacuum, do laundry, take a shower, watch TV or whatever, but just gets them used to sleeping with noise. And then we just leave them to it. If I hear them crying or whatever, I usually try to give them 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how old they are, to settle. Obviously, if they're screaming, you want to go back in there. But just go back in and resettle them, give them their passy. Maybe they can't find it. Maybe hand on belly, hand on chest, just for a minute, just letting them know that you're still there, you're not far. And then just letting them kind of figure it out. I don't do cry it out, so I'm not going to just let a baby like scream. There might be something wrong, but obviously checking their diaper, making sure they're dry, making sure they're fed, and then whatever it is, we do pacifiers at bedtime. When they're newborns, really, really little, they're pretty much asleep all the time. So they end up having a passy all the time, it feels like. But that's just what has worked for us, and we have excellent sleepers. My baby's now at 1 and 2 years old. Bedtime is 6:30. They're not up before 6:30. So even when they wake up, they're not waking up crying. They're waking up talking, laughing, like having a good time, and they're not like demanding to get out of the crib right away. If a baby wakes up crying, it's my opinion, they're not done sleeping yet. They're probably still tired. Obviously, those newborn babies, that's the only thing they really know how to do. But you're just watching those wake windows, and they're even important as they get older. I still watch those, and your baby, you'll learn, might be on the lower end of those times, or they might be on the higher end of those times. I found with both of my 2 littles right now that morning time Usually when they wake up in the morning, they're gonna be ready to go back down for a nap. Usually within about 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes is the sweet spot for them. Anything past that, they're overtired and it's now harder for them to get to sleep. So my babies are sleeping 6:30 to 6:30. They do have a morning nap, which can go anywhere from my 1-year-old. She's about 9:30 to 2:30. And my 2-year-old, it depends, obviously, toddlers, that tantrum stage, very highly emotional. I usually try to play it based on how his morning's going because I try to get in some one-on-one time with him. But once I see that, like, hey, you know, we're getting highly emotional about really little tiny things, it's time. And he can usually take a good nap. And then my 1-year-old will usually do another nap, a little power nap between 4 and 5. She needs it. I've tried to get rid of it, but she still needs it. So don't let anyone bully you out of letting your kids sleep. When they're sleeping, their brains are growing, they are growing, and it's helping them developmentally. Like when they're about to reach and hit big milestones, they're gonna need more sleep. So if your baby wants to sleep, let them sleep. The only time that we wake up is if they're sleeping like past dinner, and that's just so that we can stay on that 6:30 schedule. But I try to hardly ever wake a baby. We don't like being woken up. There's no reason for me to wake them up. So let me know if you're a first time mom. If you have more questions, put them down in the comments and I would love to answer them.